Good morning, good morning, good morning. Today is the last day we're talking about, fascinating womanhood. It's been 8 episodes. This is the 8th episode, and I have to say so long, farewell, and all the best, Helen. We got to carry this. I think my hand was crooked. Is this better? Is that the snap tube? Yeah, that's the snap tube. So, I'm out of here on this topic. You'll have to tune in next week to find out what next week's topic is. But for now, our new sponsor. Guess who? Deepbottom.biz. Let's start at the beginning. The wand is magic. Trust me, ladies and gentlemen, it comes with attachments and drives all night like a trucker if you know what Foxy Brown was talking about. His and hers attachments for getting that safe word pronounced and announced. Waterproof, airport mode. The features just don't stop. Another one of their products is the Melt. This one is travel friendly. Please, it has an airport mode so that immigration can't turn it on or off. Customs either. I'm just saying, how many features do you want in an adult entertainment product? Oh, by the way, WeVibe products also come with apps so that you can love from a distance. Don't mess around with WeVibe. This is a good product. Get yours today at deepbottom.biz. That's deepbottom.biz. Thank you for being with me all this time. This has been hard, including today, because I'm late and I know I'm late for a very important date. But the season got a hold of me and I made some rolls and bread rolls, dinner rolls. I'm from the South. We just say rolls. Anyway. I rolled out some rolls. I did the thing. Thank you, Cousin Stacy. You are wonderful. You made my day on Christmas Day. My name is Miss Margaret, and welcome to the How Channel. And this particular show is called The Morning After. Ideally, this show was to start at 6 a.m. on every Tuesday, but I'm starting to revisit the whole idea of a 6 a.m. broadcast. So you may find some changes, but I will still be here. Why the change? I don't find as many people are available at 6 a.m. the way I'm available at 6 a.m. So I have to find a better time slot. Prime time. One of the things I noticed physically is that when it's time for Helen Andelin to really focus on women, the book doesn't really pick up until right around chapter 12 or something like that. Let me just double check. I'm talking about her getting satisfaction. When is she going to say, good for me. I won. I did it. I did my thing. It's all about, here it is, part 2, the human qualities. All right, so look at the division of labor in this book. Do you see that? So this side is for the women, and this side is talking about the men and what we should do for them. So this side now is where I am, but now I have to subtract something. I have to also subtract the appendix. So that leaves us with that much on the appendix and this much to talk about us. Now, am I being facetious? All right. To one viewer's point, the book really is about fascinating womanhood and not fascinating manhood, and that would explain the division of attention in the book. So I'll go along with that. I might have been a little bit ridiculous. Thank you, subscriber V. You know who you are. I think we got a lot done over the last several weeks and had a lot to think about. That's for sure. I know I did. There are some things about being a woman that are desirable. There are things that are not so desirable. but I enjoy being a woman. I don't envy men at all. I don't want the job they have. I like my job. What do you think? Do men have it easier than women? Put it in the chat below. Do men have an easier time in relationships than women? And tell me why. So go to the chat below and just tell us what you think. Share with the group. We're a small group, but we are mighty. And when you're talking about the benefit of being a man or a woman in a relationship, how does that benefit you exactly? And why is one side of this any better or more evenly spread than the other? Let's start with what I enjoyed about the book. The one thing I did enjoy about it is that it forces a lot of questions that we don't ask all the time. And I think we need to start asking those questions, if not of ourselves, of our mate. Ask it of the relationship. I think that there is something to be gained by men reading the book and setting their expectations appropriately and agreeing with this approach in a relationship. It fuels a lot of conversation, that's for sure. Did you make a list of the 25 things you love most and the 25 things you don't love most about your partner? Some of you started. I heard from a few of you. Some of you started. Most of you did not finish because you ran out of things to say, or you found yourself being repetitive, or even better, failing to appreciate your partner. In which case, enlightenment is everything. Helen Andelin has some interesting things to say about a woman's behavior. I'm teasing it now because I'm not going over it. I want you to get the book and for you to decide how you feel about your brand of fascination. Are you fascinating mildly, boldly, timidly, apologetically? I'm just asking. Anyway, we've gone over everything from a woman's human qualities to her angelic qualities, talked about the 25 things that you that you wrote down. I'm hoping that you finished those two lists. One list was the 25 things that you like most and love most about your partner. And the second list are those 25 things that you don't find as desirable or maybe you find aggravating about your partner. And if you recall, that second list about the things you don't like about your partner so much, that's the list you're supposed to pull out when you find yourself aggravated to remind yourself about the true nature of your partner. The list of the things that you love about your partner is the list that you would refer to just to remind yourself why you're doing what you're doing. I think that's an important question. Sometimes we get caught up in the middle of something and it just doesn't seem worth it until you get to the other side. I know my mom used to say, after you fixed it, then go ahead and cry about it. No problem. There's some wisdom in there somewhere. I'll let you work that out. So here's what. To be the ideal woman who awakens a man's love and tenderness, you have to be fascinating, according to Helen Andelin. And how she evaluates and coaches us as readers about how to be fascinating is what's been up for debate for the last 8 weeks. There are some qualities in women that men are allegedly seeking. There are qualities in men that women allegedly must have in order to survive in a relationship. And again, if you are in a polyamorous or an alternative lifestyle relationship, LGBTQ and so on. And I don't mean that disrespectfully. I really have not kept up with the alphabet soup of that. But I will just lump it all together, if that's okay, and say alternative relationship styles. Some couples don't even live together. I don't know how that works, especially with the finances. Check that video out. Listen, you better get those finances together and come to a common understanding. It's important, along with the other values of the relationship. I did another video as well talking about sensuality, how to be intimate, how to kick off with intimacy and follow up with whatever it is you're providing thereafter. We've talked about a number of things by now, and I don't want to recap everything item for item, blow for blow, because the videos are there. There are 7 videos by now. So again, I thank you for taking this journey with me. This was the kickoff video series for me starting the channel, so it's sort of the incubator project, but I think now it's time to expand and talk about other things. I'm going to have to kick the crutch of the book and get out here and find some really good topics for you, one of which might be found online by our new sponsor. Guess who? deepbottom.biz. So those are the things that I like about Fascinating Womanhood as a self-help book, as a tool for understanding and insight and to guide conversation. I think those are very good, strong points and great reasons to read the book, especially if you're having a communications or some sort of a difference of opinion and irreconcilable differences. Great book. Now let's talk about what I don't like on the other side. First, a word from our sponsor. What I wanted to say just now before I was so conveniently interrupted by the rooster. So here's what I really found problematic for me personally, not for everyone. I'm only speaking for myself. Of course, if you have a comment, please make it below. I want to hear from you guys. I really do, because I'm going to have to do some soul searching at the end of this video and give some real thought to the challenge about being a better woman, being a better wife, being a better partner, being a better advocate for my relationships. And I think too, there's another point there worth mentioning, is that this book could actually be applied to different types of relationships: business, platonic, and certainly in this case, personal. Not all of them clearly, but appreciating and learning to cope. Those are skills that apply across the board. The second thing I found challenging, although I discounted the first thing I found challenging, is that I need a version of this book for men. I know this was written in the 20s and it's a little late to start that now, but maybe the men still need it. And to talk more about the modern woman, which brings me to my third point. I feel that modern women were left out of the later iterations of the book, and I just think it needs a modernization in general. I've been looking at some of the YouTube channels where the members of this community talk and exchange ideas. And even visually, I know that we have probably very little in common other than gender and some of the higher points of Helen Andelin's writing that really cannot be disputed. Only one person can lead a household at a time. That's just the truth. I've seen it work, and I've seen it struggle when people just can't give up that seat. Finally, I want to see more of a recognition of the way we socialize in the 21st century, which brings us back to our first question. But before I leave that point, social lives are now digital, and we have to wake up and recognize that we can't stay with the old system without modernizing it, without updating it, and without amending it realistically and holistically. Now, I will add one thing. I mentioned about the LGBTQ community earlier, and I want to mention it again. Why? Because this book really is steeped in some traditional ideas about religion, Christianity in particular, and the way our minds have expanded and our societies have come to embrace a wider set of diverse groups and people and cultures. Maybe, I just think it could use some updating. It's time. And I think there are enough women who could do it and have the experience to do it. Those are my final thoughts, my commentary, my opinion editorial, my op-ed on Fascinating Womanhood by Helen Andelin. I hope this series has been enjoyable for you. If there is a question you have, if there is a point of conversation that you think I should take up, please put it in the chat below, and subscribe and tell your friends about these videos and to start a conversation with them. Use my videos. I don't mind. That's why they're there. So if you want to get together with a group of your friends, watch a video and talk about the content. If you want to order the book, I'll put a link below, and go ahead and get the book. I really suggest that you read the book, that you think about what's being said, and don't just be like me with your fist in the air talking about women's lib. You have to stand down on some of that stuff because it just doesn't apply. Am I reneging on what I said? No. I still don't want to pump gas for the car. I don't want to go outside and get on the ladder and clean the window. I don't want to be responsible for a few things that Helen Andelin has already clarified are the responsibility of the man or the lead in the relationship. And I have to say, I don't disagree. Been there, done that. So, I'll see you next week. I hope so. Have a great one. And I'll see you soon. Oh, Happy New Year. I forgot. This is the last episode of The Morning After for 2022. So Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Woo! Okay, that's it. Bye.